Hey everybody, well, at least I hope everybody's watching this. This is going to be a video tutorial to save you time from staying after school or me having to meet with you an additional meeting to cover how to do the NC Test online tutorial thing with your students. All students will have to sign a PowerSchool roster that I provide you saying that they went through the tutorial with their homeroom teacher. In the past, we've had to do this multiple times, one for science, one for social studies. And last year they said that each student only has to do it one time. Unless you have an 8th grade student that's Math 1, they will do an additional tutorial with Miss Godfrey for Math 1. To cover EOC. So all of our students here at Western will have to sign a homeroom PowerSchool roster saying that their homeroom teacher completed the tutorial with them. So what you're going to have to do as a teacher is I'm going to give you a folder. It'll be in your box before I leave this evening. In your folder is a PowerSchool roster that has a space for all students to sign and date, and then a label at the bottom for you to sign and date once you've completed this. Now, if you do this tomorrow and you have absent students, it is your responsibility to do this with the absent students. Now, if your hallway wants to work out something where everybody does it in their homeroom one day, and then the next day one teacher wants to get all the absent students together and do it. Whatever works for you, your hall, your team, I'm fine with, as long as by the due date, which is next Friday on the 10th, I have everybody's signature sheets with all student signatures, dates, and your signature and date at the bottom. I have to turn these into testing. And so I need them by next Friday. Another thing that's in your folder is purple directions. This is the script that you will read from. I did do this front and back, so just be careful that you're reading everything front and looking at front and back. I've gone through these, made notes, crossed out what you don't read. I've kind of highlighted, and you can vaguely see it, what you do read. It says say, and it's in bold. So I would advise you to read over this prior to doing this with your kids. This is a new script this year, so it's not quite as long, but it's long enough to call it a long script. So you may want to go through it before you do it with your kids to familiarize yourself with it, and to ask questions. I'm here through email if you want to ask, or call me at 227. So those two things are in your folder. Those folders will be in your box. Now, one thing you're going to have to do as a teacher is also launch NC Test on your smartboard screen so students can follow along. And that's one thing I want to show you how to do today. So you have to use Chrome. So if you look at your main computer screen, you have to access Chrome. You cannot use Mozilla. You cannot use Safari. So access Chrome, and then go up here to where it says Apps. If for some reason you don't have this toolbar, you may need to play around with View, Toolbar, check and uncheck. Usually that's the case. But for the most part, most of you should have this. And when you open this, you should have NC Test as an app. If you do not, you will need to go to the web store, search NC Test, and download it. It will appear here. You'll open NC Test app, and I would stop at this screen, and at this point allow the students on their Chromebooks to get to this screen and kind of keep them at the same screen you were on. Now on the real day of testing, we'll use this. And most of you know how to access the released items, or have already done that off of the NCDPI website, but they're also here and like online version of them. But we're going to go to tutorial for this tutorial purpose that you're going to do with your students. So you're going to go to tutorial. And basically at this point, you are going to follow the script. The test type, the only thing that you'll have as an option there is tutorials. Test name, you're going to select grade 6, 8. And then I would have the students freeze at this point. You know which students in your classroom will have read aloud or read aloud by request. At this point, you should know. And you would go around to their computer screen and check this. Now, you're not checking this for any students that do not have this accommodation. So make sure those students who receive read aloud or read aloud by request have this checked. Nobody in our school has large print that is in the regular classroom, and nobody needs a theme change. So students should not mess with this area. And then you're going to click Login. The script is going to guide you through everything. Obviously, on the real test day, you can tell them on the real day, it's going to have Western Hart Middle School. It'll have their name here, their student ID in their school, and in the script, it tells them that. So the tutorial looks like this. In the tutorial, you're going to be exploring all of these options with the students. Again, if you've never done this before, or if you just feel like you need to familiarize yourself with the online NC Test app and tutorial, or if you aren't used to giving an online test, do this first by yourself before you do this with the kids. So when they ask questions, or I have a question about where something is, you are able to direct them to that. So you're going to go through this. It kind of goes one by one. And then when they hit end test, they're done. At this point, they can sign the signature sheet. So all of this is due next Friday on the 10th. If you have any questions when you do it by yourself first, please call or email me. I'll be glad to come help you if you don't feel comfortable enough and you need some help. But we're going to do this with our homerooms. So work it out with your hallway. I don't know if you want to switch back earlier or this should not take more than 10 minutes. So I don't know the best way to do it for your hall, but if you do and figure that out, and as long as I have my signature sheets before Friday, I'm a happy camper. So I hope this all makes sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, email me. Call me. I'll be glad to help you out. This is really simple, but this is something that has to be done before the students can test. Now, if there's new enrollments, I will be doing those. So after the 10th, any enrollments after the 10th, I will do those. No need to email me. Ms. Holt emails me every time there's an enrollment. I keep a list of those students. I'll do it with those. But if you have absent students, that's on you. And if there's a student that has come, I printed these rosters out this afternoon, but if a student comes between now and the 10th, just add their name at the bottom and have them sign that. I'll stop talking now. Hope this was helpful. And like I said, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or call me. Thanks.